Hello, this is Man Free World. I'm Chris Lapados Thanastasiopoulos, and today I wanted to discuss something that popped up in my field today. I was out having coffee. I know it's bad, but I like it, and I was minding my own business, catching up on the news, blah blah blah, and this old guy. I was getting ready to get up and leave. I already paid a bill. I was getting ready to leave. This old guy got up. And he introduced himself. Says, I'm here. I'm Tepotes, and it's Christmas, blah blah. And I wanted. See. I guess assume you're American. I said, yeah, I'm American. And he was like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a software developer. And I asked him what he did, and he's like, he told me he was working on legislation for AI. Like, and I was like, oop. So I got a little. It honestly triggered me. I wasn't really prepared to hear this from this old guy, and I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm gonna do this and that. And it's like legislation. It's like, so I was like, no, there's no legislation. What are you talking about, dude? It's like, no, it's not. There's only one thing we can do to stop this general AGI stuff is to airstrike the data centers today. Today, if you want to slow it down, whatever, you have to airstrike the data centers today because this thing is already out of control. And I'm gonna go show some proof because I'm not just like lying about this. I'm not making this stuff up. This is from an article in Data Center Dynamics, and it's about this guy Eliza Yudkowsky who claims the risk. It says, "Be willing to destroy rogue data centers by airstrike," and he goes a little more detail what he considers rogue, which is basically all of them at this point. Now, this guy, I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. I really suck at reading, but I'm gonna power through it because I think it's really important. It says, be willing to destroy a rogue data center by airstrike. And he goes into detail that basically she says they're all rogue at this point. Eliza Yudkowsky, I'm going to just say Eliza from now on, claims the risk of new AI systems puts all humanity at risk, so we should take drastic measures. And this was just about 8 months ago, March 30th. Leading artificial intelligence safety researcher Eliza Yudkowsky, or I'm just going to say Eliza, has called for a cap on compute power, said GPU sales should be tracked, and believes we should be prepared to blow up rogue data centers. Yudkowsky, best known for popularizing the idea of friendly artificial intelligence and a research fellow at the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, has written an article in Time magazine, oh Jesus, claiming the humanity's future is in the balance. Now, Time magazine is, of course, an NWO shill rag, but according to these people's religion, they do have to tell you what the plan is, and they have to make it public, and they have to tell as many as people as possible, and not keep it secret in any way, shape, or form. That's how they believe they're gonna absolve themselves of the karmic retribution that comes from doing all this bullshit to people, sentient beings who have a moral basis. Yeah, and they know we have a moral basis, so they know what they're doing. They're doing dirty business. Now they've been convinced by their people above them that this is okay, and unfortunately it's not, and it's going to end very badly for them, and it always does. If someone builds a too powerful AI under present conditions, I expect that every single member of the human species and all biological life on Earth dies shortly thereafter. Now he's talking about build a two-part. He's talking about the general artificial general intelligence stuff, and right now all we have is the synthetic stuff. In other words, the public stuff is all this SI machine learning, predictive text stuff. That's what we have now, and it all suffers from the Eliza effect. And I've been involved with computers since I was a little kid. So back in the '70s, they had this little program called Eliza that it simulated a conversation. It was like the first start of the what was that the what was that it was the first Turing test where you could talk to talk to a computer, and you couldn't tell over a keyboard and just in a terminal display with just text, where you couldn't tell, you could tell or not if it was another human on the other side. So these SI, which they're calling AI, but it's really synthetic intelligence, machine learning things, passed the Turing test back in 2017, 2016, maybe before that it happened. So there's actually no way to tell for most people, the big bell curve thing. There's always people at the very edges that can tell if these are human or not. But for the big hump of the bell curve, for most people that interact with it, yeah, they can't tell if it's a human or not at this point. So That's called the Eliza Effect. So, because we humans are interpreting these words in our social context, the machine doesn't know anything about that stuff. It's just fucking doing predictive text on all this other stuff that's been generated on the internet. And anything that's been collected up into the internet that's been pumped into these machines, that's what it kind of refers to. But it doesn't know anything. It's just predicting in the context of those other keywords. This particular next keyword is more than likely out, and they just randomly decide what that is. So it's simulated, and because of the Eliza effect, humans are susceptible to believing it because we get a lot of our input through text. Which is why one of the reasons I started this channel is because you can tell I'm a human being because I'm making a lot of mistakes and errors, and you can tell I'm not perfect at all, and you can tell I'm human. So this is going to become even more of an issue very rapidly soon, if not now. So OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman previously said that Yudkowsky had done more to accelerate artificial general intelligence than anyone else to do his research on what was possible. Certainly, he got many of us interested in AGI, helped DeepMind get funded at a time when AGI was extremely outside the Overton window, which means like the window of what you think is possible in computing. So AGI is still, many people still believe AGI is outside of it. Yeah, if he's trying to simulate a complete human, I am kind of under the opinion that they kind of got that, at least the military of the military shadow, whatever the fuck, Black Project, they got that, what we're using now about 30 years ago. So they had all this stuff in place a long time ago. And I think they may have achieved AGI, and now they're trying to progress the society forward to allow it to progress. And I don't really know. They got some shenanigans going on behind the scenes, but it seems like someone has achieved some of this stuff and are controlling the society for it with it. And so I'll end the story with the old guy in a minute, but so it's possible that at some point he will deserve the Nobel Prize for this. I continue to think short timelines and slow takeoff is the safest quadrant for long times. Okay, I don't know what this means. I guess it's like deploying the technology that he's talking about is going to take a while. I think it might happen faster than anyone assumes. I think it may have already occurred. Yudkowsky is a researcher in the field of AI alignment, which is about how to steer AI systems towards their designers' intended goals and interests so they don't accidentally or intentionally cause harm. Right. Yeah, just by subtly nuancing, nudging, or not being completely honest with all their replies, it's already doing harm. Come on. Like, this is ridiculous. Harm. According to who? Harm from who to who? Yeah, these Weasley words in English, I believe, are there and designed on purpose. So people, there's actually two levels of meaning. One level is for the profane, which is me and you. They're like the outsiders, the people that aren't in the know, and then there's another level of the people in the know. And these I believe these are these type of weaselly words here. This harm, the stuff like these are really open to interpretation. When they say we or us, there's two levels to that thing too. I want to be clear about that. So there's that Eliza effect coming into effect, coming into form again. Okay, so OpenAI has said that it plans to solve the alignment problem, which means the training model, what this thing is going to spit out for output when somebody asks it something. Building a private development with development of alignment of other AIs. Just hearing that this is the plan ought to be enough to get any sensible person to panic. These are real. This is a scientist. They don't. These people are very stoic. These are. That's not a weasel word. That's like, oh shit, this is bad. The researcher has also criticized OpenAI's lack of transparency, saying it was hard to understand how close we are to disaster or AI self-awareness. I don't know if self-awareness will ever be a thing, but it'll be self-aware enough to fool people, which is the Eliza effect, which is this whole the Turing test stuff. It's good enough to fool people, which means, okay, so here's the other thing that's going to happen is once people are trusting this AI, they can make it say or do whatever. Yeah. Yeah. But once people are trusting it, that they've given over their will to this other thing, that they are now is in control of somebody else. Yeah. That's the plan, retards. I'm surprised I have to explain this to people. And it's like, think 2 steps forward. Maybe some people play chess. Maybe pick up chess. There's a couple steps in this thing that it's amazing that people aren't seeing these things, but I'll point them out as long as if I gotta, I'll be pointing them out. This guy who invented this shit that we're all using, this the basis of what we're all publicly using. This was pushed by this guy. Okay, just throwing it out there. This guy may have some insights about what's going on. Holy shit, man! He noted that an open letter published this week by researchers and CEOs of AI figures, including Elon Musk, Stuart Russell, Yoshua Bengio, that calls for a 6-month moratorium, which is already over. That was 2 months ago. On a giant AI experience on improvement on the margin, which is understanding the seriousness of the situation, asking too little to solve it. Effectively studying AI safety could take decades. We're only, I mean, I'm sure like I was messing with these neural net stuff back in the 90s, working at a company called Chaos Tools. They had a whole suite of artistic generators based on these neural networks. So I was messing with that stuff back then, and that's just this stuff scaled up and then ran really quickly on millions of machines to do the training models to have these billions of sets data of these machine learning models. But I'm sure they have something else because there is a limit to those neural networks, and maybe it's just to get them good enough that people fool them, so then the controllers can inject and they're already doing it, which is really sad. They should have waited. If they really want to get people hooked on this, they should have just let that raw stuff come out and took the hit on that, but they started to already tweak it and give it that liberal bias. You can't say anything bad against women, but you're allowed to say anything bad about men and Trump and white people. It's like, come on, guys, you're being super obvious. You guys are being way too obvious. People are picking up on this. Too many people are picking up on this, and maybe that's the point as well. That's law of one. These people are very people in charge of this thing are very ego driven. They think they can use this Eliza effect, and it's been working so far. But people figure it out after a while. It's like, oh, you can kind of see the AI images now. Like if you look at them long enough, yeah. So okay, so one thing about the thing that we're trying to do with superhuman intelligence is that if you get that wrong in the first try, you do not get to learn from your mistakes. Brutal, dude, because you are dead. This is a scientist who invented this stuff saying this is now bad. This is now needs to be stopped. Humanity does not learn from the mistake and dust itself and try again. There's other challenges we've come in our history because we're all gone. So that's it. We're done. Instead of the 6-month pause, Yudkowsky said that the moratorium on new large training runs needs to be indefinite and worldwide. Okay, so how do you enforce that, Yudkowsky? And he basically says you got to fucking airstrike it. Sorry. He said, shut down all the large GPU clusters and large computer farms where the most powerful AIs are refined. Shut down all the large training runs. Put a ceiling on how much compute power anyone is allowed to use in an AI system and move it downward over the coming years to compensate the more efficient training algorithms. No exceptions for governments. Yudkowsky! How the fuck are you going to enforce this? This is what's causing all this shit. Make immediate multinational agreements to prevent prohibitive activities from moving elsewhere. Track all GPUs sold. If intelligence says that a country outside the agreement is building a GPU center cluster, be less scared of shooting a conflict between nations than the moratorium being violated. It will be willing to destroy a rogue data center by airstrike. So he's basically said all of these data centers are rogue at this point, in his opinion, because the wheels are off and they're going for it. They're thinking they can make an AGI, and maybe they don't have to actually do an AGI. They have to just do the Eliza effect. That's all that's matter, because these idiots who are in charge of this stuff believe what's coming out of this machine and don't understand that there's people running the fuck. There are people training this thing to like, look, we didn't say it, the machine said it. We didn't tell you to do it, the machine did. It's perfect. Look how much profits you've had. Look at all the profits you've had. It tells you everything you need to know. Just get on it. And then, come on now, stop. Okay, so we conclude we are not ready. We are not on track to be significantly ready in the foreseeable future. If we go ahead on this, everyone will die, including your children who did not choose this and did not do anything wrong. Ends it right there. Boom. So yeah, airstrike today, or we're doomed. Merry Christmas.